Hi, this is Hank Field. In this video I'm going to show you how to set up MinGW on Windows so that you can compile C++ code. So I'm going to start by opening up a browser, and I'm going to have you navigate to a page that I have set up that brings you through the steps of this process. The video hopefully will be a nice little complement just so you can kind of see me go through the steps. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to find exactly where to type something in. So I'm going to go to my home page, which is just hank.field.org. Just be careful because my last name is spelled a little funny there. Once you get to this page, go over to topic pages, and there'll be some instructions down here called installing a C++ compiler. So click on that, and this will help you do this for all operating systems, but the Windows one is the purpose of this video. So the first thing that you need to do is to download and install MinGW. So let me scroll down to this section. So I'm going to click on this link. And that'll bring you to SourceForge, which is kind of like GitHub if you're familiar with that. It's basically just a place to kind of deposit open source code. When you first visit, it'll ask, do you want to download the setup, and say yes. I'm going to hit run here. And you want to click on install. You can keep all of these settings, the default settings, that's fine. So I'm going to hit continue. And it's going to go through and install MinGW. We're going to have to select a bunch of packages once this downloads. So while that's finishing up processing, I'm going to go back to my browser and I'm going to hit the back button to go back to the set of instructions. Okay, so let's go back to the installer. Okay, so it's completed. So we have the continue button here is now highlighted. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to bring us over here to the list of libraries that are available. I'm going to snap this over into the side of my window so that I can have both of these windows open at the same time. So there's a set of things that we need here. So we want to right-click the MinGW32 base package. That's right here. So I'm going to right-click and say mark for installation. And now we need a few other things too. We need MinGW developer toolkit, and this is under basic setup. So that's this guy right up here. There we go. Okay, so that marked that. We need MinGW32 base. We already did that. MinGW32 GCC G++. That's right down here. We need that checked. And then MySys is already. Actually, I mistyped it here. It should be MSys. It's already highlighted here, so we're good on that. Now we want to do one extra thing. We want to go to all packages. It's over here. And we want to search out, let's see if I can make this a little smaller. Okay, so we want to search out MinGW32 libcurses. As far as I know, there's no really good way of going through and finding it. There's no like search feature that I've found. It might exist. So you just kind of have to scroll through for it. So we're looking for MinGW32-libpd curses. Okay, here's the G's. So it'll be down a little further. Okay, so here we go. So we want the dev package, and that'll automatically mark everything else we need. Okay. All right, so it says once we've marked all of those for installation, we have to actually apply the changes. So you're going to do this by going up to installation and clicking apply changes. Then hit apply, and that'll go through and it'll download each of those libraries. Okay, once everything is finished, you'll get this message. It'll say all changes were applied successfully. You may now close this dialog. And then the close button will be clickable. So I'll go ahead and close that. So the next step we have to go through is to set environment variables. These are just, an environment variable is something that your computer uses so that different programs can find out where other programs live. So one of the things we'll be doing to compile C++ code is we'll be using the command line, which you'll see more of that later. But in order for the command line to know where to find the C++ compiler, we need to set the environment variable. So this will be a little different based on whether you're doing Windows 7, 8, or 10. I'm working Windows 10, so mine's going to look like this last one here. So I'll go down into the Windows button, and I'll just start typing system environment, and then without even having to type variables, I'll get this one up here. So it says edit the system environment variables. So I'm going to click on that. So then you'll get this screen, and what I want to do is click on this button down here that says environment variables. That'll open up a window that looks like this. So up here you have user variables, and down here you have system variables. We want the system variables. And there's one in particular that we want, and it's this one called path. And so we're going to click on this and so that it's highlighted, and then we're going to click on edit. That'll show you all of the different folders that are in here. If you're on Windows 8, you're going to see a slightly different setup than this. You're not going to get this kind of nice list. You're going to get one long box, and the instructions will take you through how to handle that. But for right now, I'll just assume that you're on Windows 10. So what we want to do is we want to click on New. Let me move this window. I'm going to actually cancel out of this just for a second so that I can move this window over and do environment variables. And then go down here to path and say edit. Okay, this way we can still see the browser over here with the instructions in it. So we want to click on New, and we want to put in C:. It's probably easier to just copy and paste. Okay, sorry, I have to go back to New. Okay, so C:, backslash MinGW backslash bin. And then I hit OK, but I actually wanted to add one other one there, so I'll go back to edit. I'm going to add one more, and it's going to be this one down here, C:, MinGW, MSys, like that. I have a semicolon at the end there. We don't actually need that in Windows 10. Okay, so I'll hit OK. And then we want to do one more thing, and this one's not strictly necessary, but if you're going to end up using something like ConiMu, which is one type of terminal emulator for Windows, it's not required that you use it, but if you do want to end up using it, you might as well go ahead and create a home variable, and that's what step 4 is here. And you're going to do that under user variables for whatever your username is. So you want to click on New, and you want to give it the name home, and you want it to be all capitalized. You don't need to have the quotes around it, just HOME, all capitalized. And then under variable value, you're going to type in % user profile, all one word, all capitalized, and then end it with a %. These are little placeholders. This basically is going to find the user profile variable and replace this value with the value of user profile. And you can see here it already did that, expanded that for me. So my user profile is in C/user/H field. So that's my home directory. Okay, so we'll hit OK. I'll hit OK here. And I'll get out of the MinGW. We're done with MinGW. Okay, so The next thing we want to do is make sure that everything installed correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the command prompt. That's kind of the old school Windows terminal, and we'll just type in CMD, and that'll give us the option for command prompt. So I'll open that, and if everything worked, then when you type G++, which is the C++ compiler that we downloaded with MinGW, you should get something that looks terrible. So this says G++, fatal error, no input files, compilation terminated. That's actually good. So that means that the G++ program was found. We tried to run it, but we didn't give it any files to work with. If you weren't able to install it correctly and you didn't update your paths correctly, then you'll actually get an error message. I have an example down here. Let me zoom in here. So it'll say something like this: G++ is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program or batch file. So that's what you don't want. So if you see that, that means that something went wrong. But if you get this fatal error, no input files, that's good. So that's it. That's how you install the command line tools and the C++ compiler on Windows.